So hello and welcome back friends. In this video we will try to generate a square wave using the 8051 microcontroller. So to generate the square wave using this microcontroller we have to use the Proteus software along with the Keil. So here is the Keil software where we are going to write our code, and this will be our Proteus software in which we will see the simulation. So first of all, let's understand all the steps which will be involved during this tutorial. So what will be the first step? So the first step is going to be we have to write the code. We have to write the code where in the Keil software. In Keil software we will write our code. That code itself will be converted to the hex code in the software itself. After that hex code will be loaded into the microcontroller 8051, which is the microcontroller. In that the hex code will be loaded and then we can see our result. This is our step. So this is a step 1 and this is a step 2. Since we have to generate the square wave, we have to understand or we have to fix a frequency of which we have to generate the wave. So the frequency is given to us is 50 kilohertz, means we are going to generate a square wave of 50 kilohertz. This is the frequency provided to us. We all know that the frequency of the crystal oscillator inside the 8051 is 11.0592 megahertz. We all know about this, that this is the frequency of the crystal oscillator built in inside the microcontroller. But we have to generate the square wave of this much of frequency, that is 50 kilohertz. Okay. So to do that, what we are going to do, first of all we will calculate the time period of the square wave. So time period is going to be 1 upon 50 kilohertz. That will come out to be 20 millisecond. After calculation we can see that the time period of the square wave will be 20 millisecond. It means if the square wave is like this, actually it will be also like this, then the time taken to complete one period of oscillation is 20 millisecond. Okay, to complete one wave of complete cycle it will take 20 millisecond. If we are going to say the half time period, it will be 10 millisecond. Means for 10 millisecond the level of voltage will be high, and for the other 10 millisecond it is going to be low. For 10 millisecond it will be high, for the next 10 millisecond it will be low. In this way our square wave will be generated. So what we have to do in practice is that we have to set any particular port, and that port is given to us. We have to use port 2.3. On port 2.3 the value at this port will be high for 10 millisecond and then it will be low for the next 10 millisecond, and again it will repeat itself, high low for 10 millisecond. In total we have the square wave of time period 20 millisecond. We have to do this. Now we have to calculate that what is the amount of machine cycle which is needed to create the delay of 10 millisecond. So we know that the time period of machine cycle is going to be 1.085 microsecond. It is the time period of machine cycle. And what is the time period we required? That is the half time period. So we required half time period as 10 millisecond. So what we will do? We will divide the 10 millisecond by 1.085 microsecond, and it will give us the value as 9216. Okay, means this much amount of machine cycle is required to create the delay of 10 millisecond. Okay, so if this much amount of machine cycle it will take, then it will create the delay of 10 millisecond. So this much amount of machine cycle will be for the high and this will be for the low. So in both the cases, if it is high, then how much machine cycle it will take? It will take 9216 machine cycle. If it is low, then it is again going to take 9216 machine cycle. So this is the amount of cycle which will be needed for either high voltage or for low voltage. So after that, what we have to do? Now we know that if we want to consider this much amount of machine cycle, how we can use this much of amount cycle? We know that we are going to use the timer for this operation. So in timer we have the timer register, that is called T register, and timer register which we have is 16-bit register. How much? 16-bit. Timer register is 16-bit register. So if it is a 16-bit register, means what will be the maximum value inside it? The maximum value in case of hexadecimal, we can write it as 4F. It is the hexadecimal, okay, base is 16. If we convert this number into the decimal number system, it comes out to be 65536 to the base 10. So this is the maximum value which can be loaded to the timer register, since timer register is 16-bit register. And we know that in case of mode 1 programming, we are going to do mode 1 programming. In case of mode 1 programming, what happens? Timer rolls over the final value, means it can start from anywhere, but eventually it will roll to the final value, that is 4FH. Okay, at the end it will roll to this, and we have to use this much amount of machine cycle, that is 9216. So what we will, from where we will start? For that we are going to subtract this 9216 from this final value, so that we can get the this much amount of machine cycle. So 65536, from this we are going to subtract 9216, and the value which we are going to get is 56320. So from here our machine cycle or the value in the timer register will start. From here the value in timer register will start, and after counting this much amount of machine cycle, it will reach to the final destination, that is 4F. Okay, so we have to load this value into the timer register, and we know that the timer register is 16-bit. So we have to again make this decimal number, which is base 10, to the hexadecimal number. So hexadecimal conversion of this will be DC00H. So this is the hexadecimal value regarding to this number 56320. We can also check it. Let's say I will open the calculator and we will put the value inside this. So here is the value. We are going to write the decimal number and we will see the hex code regarding this. So this is our decimal number 56320. So I will write here 56320. We can see that the hex code regarding this is DC00. Here is the hex code. So DC00 is the hex code and 56320 is the decimal number which we have used. From here our code will roll to 4F, and we can also see that the 4F value will be this. For that we will go to the hex version and we are going to write, after clearing all this, we will write 4F 1 2 3 4. Now we can see the decimal number. I think it is 5. Let's cut 1. Now we can see it is 4F, and so the decimal equivalent will be 65535, which I have written here, 65535. Okay, it is not 6 actually, it will be 5. It is going to be 5. It is, I think it is there is something went wrong. Let's check in a minute. So let's check the result once again so that we may all clear. So first of all, let's check this value. We will go to the standard calculator and there we will divide 10 and let's convert to the micro here also. So we will again append 3 zeros, 1 2 3, and we will divide by 1.085. So what we will get? we will get 9216. So it is right, we are going to get 9216. After that what we will do, we are going to subtract 9216 from this value. So this value is here, also it will be 5, okay, here it will be 5. So we will subtract 65535, we are going to subtract 65535, and from this we are going to subtract 9216. So we will get 56319. This is not 20, it will be 319. Actually the 1 or 2 machine cycle less will not going to create so much amount of error, that's why we can approximate it also. And the decimal and the hexadecimal equivalent of this number 56319 will be what? We will check now. So we will go to the programmer and we will write the decimal value as 56319, and here we will get dB f. Here what we will get? dB f. So this is the number which we can use to generate our square wave of frequency what? 50 kilohertz. So what we will do? We will load this value to the timer register, and from there the timer register will roll to this final value, and in doing so it will consider or it will enjoy this much amount of machine cycle. So let's see the programming part of it. Let's go to the Keil software and where we are going to write our program. So here I will create one project. So here is the project and I will create new project, and I will write here I have already created a square wave. So first of all let's delete it. So let's delete this. Now I will create our square wave here. So I will write SQUARE square wave, okay, and I will this is the file name. Let's first of all create a new folder in which I will keep my all files. So here is, and in this folder I will create my file wave, which is absolutely will be used to create a square wave. Now we have to select our board, that is 8051. The name of board is 8089C51. So this is our board which we will be using. We don't need any C file of this, so we will click here no. Now our file has been created, our project has been created. In the source group, as we can see, there is no file, so we need to create and add one file. So I will click here. So this is our file. Now I will save it to the source group, but before saving to the source group, adding to the source group, I will save it a name. So I will click here and I will give name to it. So let's say web.asm. ASM stands for assembly language. So file type will be .asm and I will save it. Now what I will do, I will add this wave, this is the ASM file, to this source group 1. So I will click add. Now we can see this has been converted to the plus and expandable, and I will click close. So now we can see here is our wave.asm file. Now what we have to do, we have to see the output. So for that we will go to the target option. In the target option we will go to the option for target 1, and here we can see the crystal oscillator frequency has given to us is 20 megahertz. We will replace it by 11.0592. This is the crystal oscillator frequency which we need, and in the output we have to create our hex file. So we will check this box and then we will click OK. Now what we will do, now we are going to write our code in the file wave.s. So let's start with the coding part. So what we have to do is, first of all we have to choose the timer, that which timer we are going to choose. We know that for doing that we have to use the T mode register, and we all know that about the T mode register. T mode register is a 8-bit register, like this 1 2 3 4. This is the higher 4 bit and this is the lower 4 bit. So this lower 4 bit is used for timer 0 and this higher 4 bit is used for timer 1. What we are going to do here, we are going to use timer 1, and in timer 1 we have to use mode 1 also. So what we will do, in the timer 1 section we have to write 1, and for that how we can write, this is the 1, and this is what, this is our timer 0, and we are not going to use this, so we will write all zeros here. So the hexadecimal equivalent of this will be what, hexadecimal equivalent will be 1 0. So this is the value, hexadecimal value, which we are going to load in T mode register. By doing so we will be sure that we are using timer 1 mode 1. So for that we will use the code as move T mode 10H. So this code will be written. Okay, so let's write this code here. So I will write the first code here. So it will be like move T mode has symbol H. So this has given us that we have chosen timer 1 with mode 1. Now we will go to the next line, but let's give some space here. After that what we have to do, after that we have to use our timer register, in which we have to load the value which we have created earlier. What was the value which we have created? We know that we have to load the value dbff. So we will load this value dbff to the timer register. So let's come back here and let's understand. We have to load dbff. How many bit is present here? We can obviously see that here are 16 bit. This is the 8 bit and this is the 8 bit, other 8 bit. This 8 bit is lower and this 8 bit is higher priority. Okay, so this will go to the TH1, means timer 1 higher, and this 8 bit will go to the TL1, that is timer 1 lower. So we are going to append these two values to the program. So for that we will write like this. We will write move TL1. The value in TL1 is going to be, 0FF H, and after that we will move TH1 with hash symbol 0 dB. Why I have used 0? We have to consider here that why I have used 0 before this. Since we are writing as move TL1 hash symbol 0 FF, because if we will not use this value, 0, then this will be considered as a character. So we have to treat this as a number. So to make it as a number, we have to append 0 in the earliest position. That's why I have written here 0. Okay. In the similar way, here also we have written 0 dBH. If it was a pure number like this, if it were like this, a pure number 1 0, then we don't need here any 0. But since there is a character, so there will be ambiguity in character and number. So to make it a hexadecimal number, we have used 0 in the first position. After that, what we have to do? After that, we have to start the timer. So to start the timer, what we will do? We will write the code set B. We will write the code as set B, means we have to set the timer TR1. When we will set the value, means when the value of TR1 is going to be 1, then the timer will be started. That's why I have written set B TR1. TR1 value will go 1 and timer will start. And when timer will start, its value will start increasing from where to where. When the timer will start, its value is going to start from dBFF to the final value as all 4F. So this is our conversion. It will go to here, and in doing so, it is going to take 9216 machine cycle or 10 millisecond. So in one 10 millisecond, it is will be high, and other 10 millisecond it will be low. So after when it will reach to this final value, we have to check that whether it has reached here or not. For that, we will use the timer flag TF1. Timer flag for timer 1. How we can check it? So we will write the code here and then we will understand. For that, we have to write here JNB TF1. Means we are checking the timer flag 1, whether it has been made 1 or not. When the timer register, when the value inside the timer register will be all 4F, then this timer flag will become 1. So we are checking whether it has become 1 or not. If it will become 1, then it is okay. If it is not 1, then what we have to do? If it is not 1, then we have to loop here only. So I will write a label here, because we have to loop here if it is not 1. That's why I am writing here a label. This label is telling if the timer register timer flag is not 1, then it will, what it will do? It will loop inside itself till when this TF1 is going to 1. If it is not 1, then what it will do? It will come back again and again. It will come back again and again. How many times? 9216 times. Then this TF1 will become 1, and then after it will go down. So we will write the next code when it becomes 1. When it becomes 1, what it will do? We will stop the timer. For that, what we will do? For that, we will write J. For that, we will clear the timer. In the earlier, here we have set the timer TR1. Now what we will do? We will clear the TR1. Then the timer will stop. So clear TR1. Now the timer has stopped. Now what we have to do? We have to complement the port where we are using the value. So CPL stands for complement. What we have to complement? We have to complement port 2.3. We have to complement this port. So I have written here CPL 2.3. After clearing, means timer has now stopped and we have complemented the port 2.3. Now here we have complemented the port, we are going to the next. Since here the timer flag has been set to 1, now what we will do? We will again make it clear. So I will write CLR. We have to clear timer flag 1. We have to clear timer flag 1. Now the timer flag has been cleared, and now in this way we have created our one wave. I can show this like till now what we have done, we have created one wave. We can say like this. In one wave, not all the one wave, only one time period. Here we can say it started from here. It started from here and it complemented, so it has come here to here. It was high, then now it is low. Okay, so we have complemented and we have again cleared. Now in this period it will be again for the same thing. So what we will do for this, we will use the SJMP, that is unconditional jump statement. So I will write here SJMP again, and we will give the level here in line number 2, because after completing the cycle it has to return here again and again without any condition. It has to return back to this point so that it can make a square wave in continuous fashion. So let's clear all these things, and now our code is completed almost. So let's build the code. I will click here. It is asking for one error in line number 9. It is saying what it is saying. I think there is what problem, let us check it. It is one thing, line number 9, undefined symbol. I think I have written the P in a small here, so let's make it capital. Port, it is not detecting the port value, but it is again saying it has one error in line number 1. So let's check it again. Line number 9, SJMP again. Okay, again is not matching from here. AGA, here will be A, that's why it is asking for error. So now let's build it. Now we can say there is no error, and still we have one warning due to the end statement. So we will write end statement at the end. Obviously it is not going there any time, because our code will return back from again this point, line number 9, to the line number, I am saying that our code is from this line, it will revert back to this line. It is not going to the end statement, but let's write for the coding purpose. Now our code is clear. I will again what I will do, I will check it. Now it is saying 0 error and no warning also. So in the here we can see that our hex file must have been generated, which we have to upload in the controller. So let's go to the location and see for the hex file. This will be the square wave, and inside the object here we have the, I think there is no hex file. So let's create all the files. I have not created yet. We have to create here. We have to click on build the target files, then only we can build our files. So now we have builded. So now we can see our hex file has been created, that is wave.hex here. So we have to upload this file into the microcontroller. For that we are going to the Proteus software, and here I have already imported the microcontroller AT89C51. We have to just load it here, and we have to also use one oscilloscope to see the output. Let's make it little big. Now we have to connect this port P2.3 to the oscilloscope. Now we can see that we have connected this port to the channel A of the oscilloscope. This is our oscilloscope and this is our microcontroller 8051. In this microcontroller we have used this port 2.3, and from the port 2.3 we have connected this port in the oscilloscope at channel A, and here we can see we have must remember that what we have created one square wave, and the frequency of a square wave was 50 kilohertz. Frequency of a square wave was 50 kilohertz. In turn, the time period was 20 milliseconds. We will check this time period. or we can also say that half time period. Half time period was what? It was 10 millisecond. We will check this in the software itself. For that we will start our simulation, but before starting the simulation we have to upload the hex file into the it. So I will click here. It is asking for the hex file. Here we can see it is asking for program file. At present this is empty. We will select here. We will go back. We will go to the E where I have created the hex file. We have go to that location, programs, inside the kill code, and then the square wave, and inside the object. Here our hex file is located, so we will select it. Now the hex file has been uploaded into it. Now we can click here OK. Now our hardware part is also ready. Now we have to just simulate it. So I will click here simulate. So now here we can see here is our square wave. What we have to do, we have to see its period of oscillation. For that let us decrease the time division to 10 millisecond. So here we can see I have done the 10 millisecond, means one box is of 10 millisecond. So to complete this it has used two boxes, means time period of this square wave is 20 millisecond. In this way we can verify our code. Here we can see here it is not looking, but no issue. We can clearly see that it is occupying two boxes and one box is of 10 millisecond. So in total it is considering 20 milliseconds. So a square wave generated here has how much frequency? It has frequency of 50 kilohertz, which were required by us. In this way we have created and simulated the generation of a square wave using the Keil and Proteus software. I think you must have got some idea from it. Thank you for being with us.